An actor's job is to play you. That's what Diane Ladd used to say. We're all mirrors, reflecting each other's truths. And maybe that's why her loss feels so personal. Because through every role, every sharp line, every trembling smile, Diane reflected something that was ours. She wasn't just another Hollywood legend. She was the living proof that art, when honest, can outlive everything, even time. If you love stories that breathe long after the credits roll, stick around. You'll like this one. Diane was born in Meridian, Mississippi, 1935. Small town heart, big city fire. In the South, people learn early to perform for survival, to smile through pain, to keep the rhythm no matter the storm. Diane learned both. She started in local theater, hustled her way through early TV roles in the 1950s. She wasn't the ingenue type Hollywood usually loved. She was sharper, funnier, rawer. That honesty became her weapon. By the late 60s, she was working with names like Jack Nicholson in The Rebel Rousers, alongside her husband at the time, actor Bruce Dern, two dreamers, raising a daughter and chasing scripts that might pay rent. But Hollywood doesn't hand out respect easily, especially not to women who refuse to smile when they're told to. Then came the darkness, the loss of her first child at just 2 years old. It broke her. For a long time, she disappeared from the noise of cameras and sets. 2.5 years spent in solitude, studying, searching, praying. Doctors told her she would never have another baby. She told them they were wrong. Against all odds, she did what they said was impossible. She carried life again. That child was Laura Dern, the miracle that would later stand beside her as both daughter and artistic equal. It's strange how pain and purpose sometimes share the same cradle. In the early 70s, she caught Martin Scorsese's attention. He cast her in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, a story about a woman starting over after loss. Diane didn't just act that part, she lived it. Her waitress character, bold, fiery, unfiltered, became iconic. The film won Ellen Burstyn an Oscar and earned Diane her first nomination. That role turned into the TV series Alice, where Diane kept proving something that Hollywood still hasn't quite learned: that women over 30 don't fade, they evolve. She once said that being an actor isn't about pretending, it's about remembering, finding the part of yourself that matches the part on the page. And that's what made every performance of hers electric. Years later, Diane would stand on the red carpet beside her grown daughter. 1991, Rambling Rose. Both nominated for Oscars in the same year for the same film. The first mother-daughter duo in Academy history to do so. The woman who once begged Laura not to become an actress now watched her follow that same dangerous, luminous path. But there was no jealousy, just pride. Fierce, humble pride. Diane said that maybe her gift from God wasn't acting, it was motherhood. Because through her came another storyteller, one who would carry her flame forward. Away from the screen, Diane was a writer, director, producer, a full creative force. She never chased glamour, she chased truth. To her, acting was intelligence in motion, the ability to select from your life the emotions that fit the story. It wasn't about faking tears, it was about remembering your own. Over the years, she worked with some of Hollywood's finest: Sandra Bullock, Emma Thompson, Whoopi Goldberg, Jennifer Lawrence, and every one of them said the same thing. Diane didn't just show up to set, she showed up for you. There was always a story, a joke, or a line that made you rethink what it means to be. Even in her 80s, Diane was unstoppable. She said she liked roles that her grandchildren could watch, ones with heart, not just noise. She believed that women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond deserved stories too. Out there in the boondocks, she said, women sit watching, waiting for a story that makes them feel seen again. And when they laughed, she laughed with them. Because to Diane, laughter wasn't trivial, it was medicine. Laughter gets rid of gas, she used to joke. It makes your heart happy. That was Diane, wise enough to find humor in pain, kind enough to turn it into a gift. In her later years, Diane worked less but never stopped creating. She wrote books, made family-centered films, and shared wisdom like a teacher who never retired. She believed that humanity was a single performance, that we all take turns holding the light. And when it was finally her cue to exit, she left us with the stage still glowing. Because every role, from Wild at Heart to Joy, from the waitress in Alice to the matriarch in Rambling Rose, carried a piece of her, and by extension, a piece of all of us. She taught us that art doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be true. And Diane Ladd lived that truth, fiercely, beautifully, completely. Now her daughter Laura Dern carries the torch. But the world she leaves behind, the one filled with laughter, heartbreak, and 1,000 unforgettable faces, that's Diane's. She gave voice to women who'd been quiet too long and light to stories that might have gone unseen. And maybe that's the best kind of immortality, not statues or trophies, but hearts that remember. Diane Ladd passed away at 89. but the mirror she held up to us still stands. If stories like this remind you why we fall in love with movies, you know what to do. And if you'd like to watch this other story too, just click on the screen.